Chapter 1: Signs of the Apocalypse. A light drizzle had been falling for 2 days, shrouding the entire city of Qingcheng in gloomy clouds, creating a somber atmosphere.
China News Network, the entire southeastern region will experience heavy rainfall over the next week. Please stay safe and minimize travel. The northern region will see another drop in temperature.
Chen Hao looked out the window at the drizzle, feeling restless. Natural disaster? Human-made catastrophe? Or an alien civilization? Every time he thought about how the world would enter the apocalypse the next day, he couldn't help but tremble, his fear overwhelming him. That's right. He had been reborn. He had clearly been swallowed by a 3-headed mutated dog, but when he opened his eyes, he had returned to the time before the catastrophe. Since heaven had given him another chance, all he could do was grow stronger in the midst of the catastrophe. Only by constantly becoming stronger would he have the right to survive. As for informing others, Chen Hao didn't do that. Who would believe that the world would end in a day? But he still called his best friend, Li Qiang.
Hello, it's Chen Hao.
What's up? I'm in the canyon. If you have something to say it quickly.
If you still consider me your brother, use all your money to buy food and stockpile it. Maybe you might survive.
You're crazy? I only have 300 yuan on me right now. If you want to borrow money, forget it. At most 200. Leave me 100 for bread.
Chen Hao froze, then laughed. He seemed to suddenly realize that this time around, he had to do more than just survive.
Watch the news tonight. There will be an earthquake in the southwest region, and a tsunami will hit the west coast of the United States.
With that, Chen Hao hung up the phone. Behind him were piles of supplies. He didn't have a single yuan on him now. He'd spent it all on supplies. Words are sometimes inadequate. Only facts can prove everything. Across from him, Li Qiang furrowed his brow, sensing something was off. July the 3rd, 2024, 9 p.m.
China News Network. At 8:50 p.m. tonight, a magnitude 9.7 earthquake struck China's southwestern region, causing transportation networks in 3 provinces to collapse. At 8:54 p.m., a massive tsunami hit the U.S. East Coast, causing power outages in 7 states, with the death toll unknown.
Listening to the news on TV, Chen Hao felt a chill run down his spine. Even though it was the second time he had heard it, he still felt terrified. The natural disasters before the apocalypse had begun. At that moment, Li Qiang called.
Chen Hao, you're really amazing. Do you know something insider information? I'm going to buy food right now, even if I have to borrow money.
No, don't go anywhere. Come straight to my house tomorrow, and I'll explain everything to you then.
All right.
Li Qiang hung up the phone, his shock overwhelming. Could it really be the end of the world? Regardless, he would discuss it with Chen Hao first. After hanging up, Chen Hao was lost in thought. Was what he was doing changing the course of history? Could something go wrong? July the 3rd, 11 p.m.
China News Network reports that a glacial fissure has appeared in the Arctic, with suspected large-scale biological activity. July the 4th, 3 a.m., Mount Fuji in Japan erupted, accompanied by a strong earthquake. It is said that someone saw a monster flying out of the lava.
It was a sleepless night. People around the world were terrified, with disasters occurring one after another. Many believed the end of the world had come and began hoarding supplies in large quantities. Both supermarkets and small stores were completely emptied. Chen Hao also stayed awake all night, quietly monitoring changes around the world to see if there were any differences from his previous life. Unfortunately, the disasters around the world remained unchanged from usual. At noon today, the red rain is likely to appear again. The catastrophe is about to begin. To survive the catastrophe, he must obtain the opportunity to awaken. In his previous life, he had awakened by chance and gained power. Otherwise, he might die in the first wave of the catastrophe.
Chen Hao, I'm here.
Li Qiang shouted urgently. The moment Chen Hao opened the door, Li Qiang saw mountains of food and water piled up, leaving him so shocked his mouth nearly dragged on the ground.
Did you empty the supermarket?
After that, he truly began to panic.
The entire world is on the verge of chaos. Do you know that? The pyramids have collapsed, forming a massive crater. Mount Fuji has erupted, releasing unknown creatures.
Li Qiang said solemnly. Who would have believed that the apocalypse would one day arrive?
Chen Hao, tell me honestly, is the end of the world?
Chen Hao nodded, walked into the room, and pulled out a dagger, shoving it into Li Qiang's hand.
Don't be scared. After midnight is when the real show begins. This world won't belong to us anymore. If you want to survive, you'll have to rely on yourself.
Li Qiang instinctively took the dagger, feeling a bit dazed. He had already called his parents to tell them to stockpile supplies and not to go out no matter what happened. I hope everything will be okay.
I believe in you.
Chen Hao grinned. But inside he was calculating how many zombies they would have to hunt to keep the two of them alive. Time flew by, and it was now 10:30 a.m. There was still an hour and a half before the red rain erupted. This time, they were well prepared. The food in the room was enough to sustain the two of them for half a year. After all, this was all he had. Luckily, he had bought everything early. Otherwise, with the little money he had now, he wouldn't even be able to buy 1,000th of it. He heard that some places had already started fighting over food.
Chen Hao, does that mean we won't go out anymore? We'll just stay at your place?
Li Qiang was still a little scared. The apocalypse meant people would die, and he felt Chen Hao's house was extremely safe.
No, once we're properly equipped, we'll go out.
Chen Hao sheathed his dagger at his waist and slipped a steel plate into the front and back of his chest.
It's so dangerous. Why go out?
Li Qiang was startled, his face turning pale.
The apocalypse, a heavenly disaster, you can't escape it by hiding. Only by constantly growing stronger can we survive.
Chen Hao said solemnly.
You like playing games, right? I'll take you to fight monsters in real life.
July the 4th, 11:30 a.m.
With half an hour left before the red rain fell, there was a concrete pipe over 1 meter wide and nearly 10 meters long in the park of Chen Hao's residential complex. No one knew when it had been left there as construction material, but it had remained there ever since. This was the place where Chen Hao had awakened in his previous life. He had exerted all his strength to kill a mutated wild dog and, by sheer luck, had swallowed its blood core to awaken his power. Otherwise, he would have perished in that catastrophe, and none of the subsequent events would have occurred.
Are you afraid?
Chen Hao looked at Li Qiang, who he had forcibly brought along to alter his fate, unsure of what would happen.
No, I'm not afraid. Whatever you say goes. I'll follow your lead.
Li Qiang forced a smile. Chen Hao paused for a moment, then smiled. In this life, he wouldn't let him die again. On July the 4th at 12 p.m., Xingchen, no, the entire earth was completely shrouded in a layer of blood-red clouds, and the rain had quietly turned red. Chen Hao looked out at the red world, his face solemn. The catastrophe had begun.